Hello everyone, how you guys doing? On today's video, I'm going to talk about real estate market in West Africa and Africa in general. And while I'm going to discuss about real estate up in Nigeria and Ghana and the entire West African region, I'm going to touch base on the whole Africa as well. So according to every report out there have been a housing shortage in almost all countries in Africa. So that means that many people are being born, and then there's not enough house. There's not enough houses for people. So let me use for example Nigeria, which have a population of 230, almost 230 million people. The last time Nigeria had a credible census was a credible census that I can talk of is 1991. Yeah, that's like 30 years ago. Oh, damn. So, over 30 years ago. So now they have one after that, but I think the most credible one is 1991. So, the data we have about Nigeria is about 230 something million people. Okay, back to my reason of making this video. So, there is a housing deficit in Nigeria. I think Okonjo-Iweala, finance minister of Nigeria years ago, who's now working World Trade Organization or something like that. As of then, 10 years ago, she said Nigeria have a housing deficit of about 5 million. So now, here's where the problem is in Nigeria. I'm using Nigeria because, that's the country that I'm familiar with. I'm going to mention Nigeria and Ghana because these two countries I know when it comes to real estate. The problem with Nigeria and Ghana, but mostly Nigeria, is that lack of regulation. Everybody does anything to their will, to do whatever how they want it. Okay, you can imagine a country where an like average people make less than $3 a day, right? But houses, 90% of the houses that are being built are built in the luxury end. Nobody builds house for regular average Joe, or banks are not willing to have some kind of financial scheme to make people that can't afford to buy a big house have a soft loan to secure a house they can make a 10-year or 15-year payment and the house will be theirs. Those things doesn't exist. So that's why you see the housing crisis you see in Nigeria right now. The ones that have their house now, the rent is off the roof. One, the key major problem about this is because of what I said in the beginning of this video, lack of regulation. The, the regulators are not doing anything about, controlling how real estate are structured and sell in, uh, in Nigeria and Ghana. The reason why I keep adding Ghana to this is because I lived in Ghana. I did a real estate business in Ghana. I wanted to buy a land. In Ghana, you can only lease land for 99 years. So I have some money that I have with me that I said, okay, let me put it in something that can actually uh, feel like I have my money in the right place. So when the further that I go, the more I realize, this is not good. So I have to retract and keep my money, you know, because the same thing that goes on in Ghana goes on in Nigeria, And I bet you if it goes happening in this Nigeria and Ghana, so it's happening in the whole entire West African region. So everything, real estate business is very shady in Africa, especially in West Africa and Nigeria. Okay, now I've just mentioned that they built houses in luxury end. Nobody built houses anymore in the 60s, 70s, 80s. There were a lot of houses that were built for average Joe, middle class, lower middle class that can afford. Nobody does that. Even the government don't even the last hope of a common man. The government can't even build the houses now for people to live in. Government workers, give them the house, let them pay this amount of payment, and then eventually pay off on a 10-year or 20-year plan, depending on the structure. Nobody does that. Everybody is building house in Lekki, Banana Island. Everything is on the luxury end. And then it creates room for money launderers. People are using, yeah, I don't want to, I'm going to make a video about that separately. But I'm talking about the real estate crisis, the unregulated real estate crisis going on in Nigeria and entire West African region. So, entire West Africa, mostly Nigeria and Ghana. Now, what can be done? The government have to step in. The government have to step in because right now, I remember on another social platform, TikTok, I used to post videos of different beautiful houses. If you go to my TikTok page, you will see. I'm not telling you to go now, but and do you know how many times I can count of times people want to buy a post on social media, but it's because of the financial. Do you know that due to the financial shadiness that goes on real estate, you that barely worth that barely, well, let me use in dollar terms, that barely worth $200,000, and people will put it at 500 or what, 1 point. What am I talking? They put it at $1.2 million, all because it's in a certain location. They are not even trying to, be fair. If you want to build a house on a luxury end, at least come in the middle. So all these things are done anyhow in Nigeria now. If you want to buy houses in most locations in Nigeria now, they only ask for dollars. Yes, they only ask for dollars, which is illegal. There is another guy out there that is talking about, exposing people, that all these companies that are dollarizing real estate market in Nigeria. So the guy is doing a good job, but Nigeria is Nigeria. At the end of the day, the shady people will continue to do their, shady things. So back to Ghana. The same thing with Ghana. I have a trusted friend that said it's even worse in Ghana because Ghana is the same thing. They're building house for, they don't even care about the citizens in Ghana. They're building house for people in diaspora to come and invest. They're building houses for Black Americans, the people that comes out a year return, 30 December. So they will come in and, so the regular average Ghanaians can't even afford their houses. It's unregulated. No oversight, nothing. It's just that those people, they will borrow money from the bank. Some of these people, they borrow money from the bank. They build these luxury houses and the money will stay there, and then they start looking for clients all over the world, forgetting the average Joe that live in those countries. That's the problem we are going on in West Africa. And fair enough, I've done my research. It's not the same thing in East Africa. It's not the same thing. In East Africa, I have some sort of stronger, much more East African countries. I can only talk about Kenya. Some sort of stronger regulation when it comes to real estate. And real estate is cheaper there. If you want to do, I even recommend it. If you want to even, I'm Nigerian. I'm not even going to tell you to invest, do real estate business in Nigeria if you don't want to take too much risk. So in East Africa, Kenya is promising because I've done my research, but Ghana and Nigeria, there is something that needs to be done because the unregulated business side of real estate dealing in Nigeria and Ghana is crazy, and Nigeria most especially. As I said in the beginning of this video, these people will build houses. 90% of all the houses that are being built is luxury end, and then there is 230 million. And this 230 million, 70% of what am I using? Over 70% of them are below 30 years old. You understand? So who are you? Who's gonna buy these things? Why can't a young man that is starting a life that have a decent job, why can't he have access to a house that he can pay when he turns 35, 40, he have his own house? Why can't a young man to just finish college, get a decent job, money from the bank, and secure an apartment himself on a 10, 20-year plan, 10, 15-year plan to pay the house off? You understand? So this way you can housing crisis, and then government building affordable housing, not building a house. This is where the Nigerian government and Ghana government, because I lived in Ghana, as I told you guys, They are, the only reason it's fair is because their population is smaller, but Nigeria have more bigger problem. So government will build a house and call it affordable housing, and they do it based on they give on who they. It's not even affordable for you to have access to that house. It's even more stressful than all these luxury houses people are building out there without thinking about the poor people. So government need to start building houses in government land, clean out to people that have this two parents household that they one parent if one person is working, they pay into the government. The way they can pay, if they pay 70% of the payment, government can forgive them, and then cancel the rest. Because what government would do is to eliminate that monopoly all real estate companies are doing when it comes to the entire real estate market, and also so homelessness crisis going on in Nigeria, uh, and the entire African region. So I don't know if you agree with me, if you the point I'm trying to make. The point of making this video following to the reason why I make this video is to explain to you guys the irregularities in an real estate market in West Africa. When I mean West Africa, Nigeria and Ghana, that's what all this video is all about. If anything, don't forget to share in the comment section. You know, say what share the video, and then subscribe to my channel. All right, that's the video, man. See you guys on the next one, and then let's have another discussion on other topics. All right, bye bye.